CougFan.com with WSU great Jack Thompson at Pac-12 Media Day in Los Angeles. Jack, I just have a few questions for you regarding the Pac-12 and Washington State, obviously. So the first question I have for you is, I know that you're here as a member of the Pac-12 Alumni Council, and I was wondering what the council's goals are during this week and what you guys are planning to achieve.
Well, as I'm finding out this week in this event, it's been a real treat for us council members because we haven't had to do much. We had a meeting last night. We came in yesterday and met last night for only about 40 minutes. And the rest, it's pretty open. They've allowed us to go to all the events, the breakfast this morning, the picture taking that they had with the coaches and the players. And got to hear the commissioner speak, which was, I thought he did a great job. He was very strong, and but not much as far as responsibilities for the council. Compared to the last time we met at the Pac-12 championship game, Oregon and Utah, we had like a 3-hour meeting, and so very different, much more of a treat this go around. So I'm sure that the next time we get together at the Pac-12 championship game this year, we'll have a much heavier workload.
Okay. And then as a quick follow-up to that, are USC and UCLA members of the council, are they still allowed to come to meetings and everything?
Commissioner George made it very clear that as long as they have the Pac-12, logo on their shoulders, they're part of our conference, and we're here to support them in any way we can, and treat them with class. This conference has been known, the Conference of Champions, a conference that have a lot of classy players involved, and there's going to be no change in that.
Okay, great. And then just speaking to Commissioner Klyavkov's speech and Q&A, what were some things in that stood out to you?
Well, I thought he was strong. Mm-hmm. He didn't mince words. I mean, there's one question, I think you were there, he was being asked about the Big 12 and what his thoughts were, and he said, well, they've been lobbing grenades at us, and at all corners of the Pac-12 members, and you can understand why, because they like to have our market, mm-hmm. the markets that we do have, and kind of nice little classy jab. But he didn't, like I said, he didn't mince any words. He's very strong in keeping the 10 together, mm-hmm. and his workload is very set. I mean, he's out to get us a great contract, a media contract, and those are his goals in the immediate future, and then once we get that settled, that'll help really solidify our conference.
And then another question, more WSU related. What do you think the future holds for Washington State football and Washington State athletics, with obviously a rapidly changing landscape of college sports?
Well, we're only as good as the leadership that we have, and I'm counting our blessings, in the fact that we have the best leaders possibly in Kirk Schultz and Pat Chun. They are highly regarded within our conference and at the national level. Kirk Schultz was the Big 12 wanted him as their commissioner. He turned it down. The NCAA, when the president stepped down, they asked him to consider that position, and he turned it down. I know that he loves Washington State University, and his wife Noel, they love being there, and we couldn't ask for a better leader. All the other schools in our conference, those presidents look up to him, and Pat Chun has made quite a mark already. One of the best, if not the best, AD we've ever had. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a whole lot.
All right, and then one last question. With USC and UCLA obviously heading for the Big Ten, how do you think that will affect Washington State's recruiting and I guess the conference as a whole's recruiting capabilities in Southern California?
Well, I don't know the answer to that question. I think in my heart, I don't think it's going to change much because we're competing against, schools from other conferences. We do that anyway, right? And I think that we have a way of just finding the right players to play at Washington State, and that goes to our coaching staff. And I have a lot of, I hold them in great regard. They are, Coach Stickert has put together a great coaching staff, and we'll see that come through this season. But they are terrific recruiters in their own right.
Okay, thank you so much. That was
Thank you,
Jack
Ryan.
Thompson.
All right.